The mustard seed is one of the smallest seeds in the world, and yet it produces one of the biggest trees in the world. The mustard seed is like a child, and the grown tree is like an adult. In 1541, a European soldier by the name Francisco Owerri, who was fighting in the dense forests in South America, discovered a body of water. A body of water that is about 7,575,000 kilometers in length. And that's precisely the size, the distance from New York to Rome. A body of water that discharges about 8,000 cubic feet volume of water per second. Again, that's precisely 43 million barrels of water per second. This body of water is about 5 miles in width in dry season, and during rainy season, it stretches as much as 50 kilometers. Again, this body of water is fed by a lot of tributaries, and in turn, it gives off through estuaries. The Amazon River is the second longest river in the world after River Nile in Africa, and the largest river in the world. And yet, in its grandiose nature, the Amazon River started as just drops of water from a crack. High in the Andes Mountains of southern Peru, the Amazon River gushes a little bit. Quantity of water that could hardly fill a cup for a second. You talk about a humble beginning. That is the Amazon River. Now, at any point in time, we have, when we were young, thought about, dreamed about being someone, being something, being someplace. I need you to close your eyes for a second, just a second, and imagine yourself as a child again. What did you dream of doing? What were your childhood aspirations? What did you think you would do? And who did you think you would become? If you're a parent here, can you think back a little bit? What have you seen your children doing? What were they doing when they were young? What were they saying when they were young? What were they acting out when they were young? Today, what are they and who are they? Now come back and open your eyes and tell yourself, did I become who I wanted to become? Did I become who I had planned to become? If yes, it means you had a very comfortable and conducive atmosphere to grow. If you did not, ask yourself, what made me? What were the things that stopped me from my track? 62 years ago, a boy was born. 10 years after his birth, precisely in his primary 4, the young boy said, one day I will become the president of my country. 37 years from the time he made this pronouncement, Barack Hussein Obama became the 44th president of the United States of America. In that similar fashion, a young girl at the age of 10, possibly in her primary 4, read Chinua Achebe's Things Fall Apart. And then and there, an idea was born. She knew that she would become a writer like Chinua Achebe. Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie, a well-known name An author, a prolific writer, and a great public speaker, got her ideas from the age of 10 in primary school. And so, what is the grade school factor? The grade school is a time between the ages of 6 and 17. Your primary school, your secondary school. It's at a time where ideas are born. It is at a time where you manifest a lot of the things. Many parents with little keen eyes easily miss what their children show at that point in time. But for a keen eye, it is time to observe and say, what is my child doing? Why is he doing this? And what would this lead him to? Now, some years ago, in 1993, Trace McClan did a study. In his study of 620 adults between 40 and 55, the study was, did your childhood aspirations predict your career as an adult? In that study, out of the 620 adults, 58% said their childhood aspirations predicted what they became as adults. 41% said their aspirations at the grade school level, the primary school level, predicted what they would become. And 48 said it was at their adolescence. Make no mistake, it's not always that you make your aspirations, that you realize what you will be at the grade or secondary school level. Sometimes it's when you are an adult. Confusion can set in, and you may not actually know what you want to do until you are in the university or even as an adult. Our people say, "Mbonye tetara wototeya." That is when you wake up. That is your morning. So, but the focus today is the grade factor, the primary school, the secondary school. And I make bold to say that a lot of things are going wrong in our society today, starting with the primary and secondary school. I am a teacher by profession, and what we see in classrooms is sometimes not what we can talk about today, because it's an evidence that some of our parents have failed in their duties and responsibilities to guide their children properly. A child is nurtured by his or her environment, and an adult is a reflection, again, of his environment. Therefore, what you become is greatly determined by the environment in which you have grown. Now, I'll go back to the research of 58%. Some of you will say, oh, wow, that's a little number. That's not a lot of number, but that's a lot. It's a lot because a mustard seed, you remember the story of the sower and the seed. Seeds can fall anywhere. They can fall in a toxic area, in a rock, and they will not even germinate. They can fall into a good place, but weeds can scuttle the growth of a plant. And yet, some can also fall on good land, conducive for growth, and it will grow. The same thing happens with our children's dreams. A lot of times you have big dreams. You manifest your dreams in so many ways. You will hear children saying, I want to become this, I want to become that. And yet, sometimes those manifestations, those dreams are cut short by ill health, both on the part of the child or the parents. Can be cut short by political problems. Think about Ukraine, think about Rwanda, and then imagine how many young people's dreams and aspirations have been truncated because of the political upheaval in those countries. Think about culture. Culture can also impact and impede you from achieving your aspirations. Think about socioeconomic issues. Money can stop a child from achieving their aspirations. My father is a very intelligent man and had big aspirations. Unfortunately, his parents died at an early age. His uncles could not help him achieve his dreams. And so, at a young age, he was pulled out of school. Today, his dream of being an educated man is being lived through his 7 children. Now, I have a daughter. My daughter is a grown girl now. When we were living in US, October 31st is usually called Halloween. And during Halloween, children visit homes. When they visit homes, they ask for 2 things: trick or treat. Now, if you accept trick, they will perform a trick for you. And if you say treat, the neighbors will give you candies. And oftentimes, the children will come home happy with bags and bags of candies. Now, my daughter, Nonye, will take her candy while all the other children will be eating their candies for the next 1 week. Oh, yummy, right? While the other children will be eating their candies, enjoying their candies for the next 1 week or 2, my daughter Nonye will just take a little bit of candy and then go and hide her own bag of candy. And you would wonder, why would she hide it? Precisely 2 months after, she will bring back her bag of candy, and then she will start selling the candies to everybody, to her friends, to the family, and we will be buying, and she will make money. You wouldn't believe that at the end of, say, 3 weeks, she would have sold all the candies and will make about $100 or $200. But it didn't end there. No, you will use that money as principal money for lending. We will now start borrowing money from her and paying interest. Think about being smart. And yet, this was in her primary 3, 4, 5, 6. She continued doing this even up to secondary school. Today, Nonye is an accountant. Even before she became an accountant, we started calling her accountant in the house because she would also hold our money. And once Nonye is holding your money, rest assured that that money would stay safe. We started calling her accountant even before she knew the meaning of accountant. Today, Nonye is a good accountant with business ideas that equals to none. Again, I have a brother who, when he was small, primary 4, 5 again, would catch lizards and rodents, and he will use razor blade and cut them open. And he'll start showing us the heart, the neck, the intestines, and so on. And each time he does that, everybody will say, "Eee!" Nobody wanted to get close to him because, of course, it's an ill moment. Nobody wanted to touch whatever he was touching. But for the keen eyes of my mom, she understood that that was a surgeon in the making. Dr. Nnamdi Lewoke is one of the few African neurosurgeons in Barcelona, Spain, doing wonders with his hands. Now, again, I ask you, what were your aspirations when you were small? A lot of times, parents fail to see what is just open in plain sight. A lot of times, guardians fail to understand what their children are doing. For all of us here present, whether you're a young man, a young woman, a father, or a mother, I want you to observe when you go. Observe the seeds that your children sow. Observe the seeds that your adolescents sow. Observe the seeds that that you have sown, even as an adult, by one S, speaking. When children want to manifest themselves and what they want to become, they speak it out. Like Obama spoke his aspirations into existence. And he continued saying that. And today, you and I know who Obama Hussein is, because he spoke his aspirations into existence. Engage. Children are engaged with what they love. When they like something, when they like a profession, you see them engage. Sometimes they dress up if they want to become a model. Sometimes you see them speaking all the time because they want to be a public speaker. Sometimes, like the Dr. Nand, you see them operating on little things. They are engaged. And whenever they are doing that, which defines their adult career paths, you will see them fully engaged, never to be distracted. Children excel when you do or try to do what you love doing. You will keep trying and you become excellent in it. And finally, they distribute, they share. You can't hold a child's mouth from speaking out, from showing, whether you want to hear it or you don't want to hear, whether you want to see it or you don't want to see it. As long as it's what they like, they will keep pushing it at you, distributing it. And by the time they grow up, not only have they distributed their aspirations at such young age, but whatever they have become, like the Amazon River that gives off, your child will give off of what he has learned. Like the mustard seed that provides habitation, that provides food, that provides shelter, that helps save the community from erosion. Your child, as an adult, living up to his aspirations, in his career choices, will give back to the community. And in so doing, the world will be a better place. Thank you. I am Dr. Mrs. Pearl Ihoma Onukwugha.